I have a new hobby. As with most gun owners, I also own a couple of knives, and I thought every now and then I'd go ahead and throw in a knife review. So since this is a special number 50 in my videos, I thought I'd go ahead and start doing knife reviews. Not all the time, just throw them in every once in a while. Sorry, I got a bad cold. This video, I will be reviewing the SOG Flash II. The SOG Flash II is an assisted opening blade. Its overall length is 8 inches. The blade is 3.5 inches. The frame is 4.5 inches. The weight is 3.1 ounces. The steel for the blade is AUS 8, spelled A-U-S, and then the number 8. The blade is a flat ground blade. It has no facets and things like that you normally would find on other blades. You see how this one has a different kind of ground, has multiple facets. This blade is completely flat on the sides. This blade is also half serrated, and the frame or handle, or other terminology may be used in, is Zytel, which is glass enforced nylon or plastic. And for the rest of the review, we're going to go ahead and go downstairs. Another unique thing about the SOG Flash II is there's no metal liner inside. No metal liner inside, which means it can't have a liner lock, and evidently it doesn't have a frame lock. The type of lock it has is a plunger. When you pull the release back, see, it's locked. When you pull this release back, it pulls a plunger back that sort of rides right here on the blade and prevents the blade from moving, and locks it. So when you hear that snap, that's the plunger moving forward and locking the blade in place so the blade doesn't move. Now when you first get this, one of the things that SOG Flashes one of the problems that they have is they have blade play, back and forth blade play, usually out of the box. And all you have to do to fix that is grab a 5/64 Allen key or wrench, whatever you want to call it, put it into the pivot screw and just tighten it a little bit. Another thing that the SOG Flash IIs have that could be a potential issue, and mine does have it, is slight up and down play. Listen. Okay, so it's still very slight up and down play. Not something that you want to find out you have if you spend $50 on a knife. I have knives that cost $10 that have solid lockup both back and forth and up and down. So I'm not. There we go. The grip is a little strange. I would have rather that the deepest part for your fingers was somewhere up around here, but it sort of has this dual finger design. I much rather would have had that here. See how awkward your middle finger's the one that's furthest around, wrapped around the handle. I've already sort of pre-staged everything, so I don't take up a lot of your time sitting here turning screws. Go ahead and utilize a 5/64 hex driver here to disassemble your knife. All the screws here are identical, with the exception of the one that holds your clip, which is slightly smaller and it's flat compared to the other 3 screws that hold the handle together or the frame together, whichever term you'd like to use. Then you have the knife pivot screw. It utilizes the same hex size, 5/64. Once you do this, carefully lift the one side of the frame off. What you don't want is the blade to come off the pivot screw and release the spring, because if you do that, you're going to have a very hard time getting that back together. It took me a while to get this back in there once I've done that. So once you remove your frame, the first thing I'd like to show you is the lock. This is a lock that people have been using crazy glue or whatever to lock open so it can't be used. There we go. Actually, I'm going to put the pin back because the pin holds the frame, can help hold the frame straight. But you can just go ahead and remove this, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. I'm going to go ahead and fold this. I'm going to hold the blade flat, and if you notice, I'm going to go ahead and hold this and hope nothing snaps apart. The way that the safety works is the safety moves up and down on this plunger that moves back and forth, and this end comes up and locks into the plunger, holding it right there. If you look above the blade right here, the plunger is forward, locking the blade. And one of the issues is that there's a lot of plastic in here, and you can see there's plastic above this plunger. I don't know if that'll end up wearing out or not. Only those folks who have Flash 2s for a significant amount of time can tell whether or not that wear actually does occur. But, you know, metal against plastic moving back and forth is not something I'm a fan of. I would have liked to have seen a piece of metal embedded into the frame right here where the plunger moves back and forth and rubs against, both above and below. Okay, the other thing that I have a lot of issue with is the RFID in the handle. I'm going to go ahead and it's glued in there, and I've had it out once, but I went ahead and put it back in so you can see where it's located. This is the RFID that sets the alarm off if you try to walk out without paying and without it being deactivated. But this is where it's located. And there's your RFID. I have issue with things that can have any information. I don't care if it's 1 digit.
Time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. I could afford one if I did just a little less drinking.
It goes in and out fairly easy. But if you do it this way, you're pressing on the clip. You can pull it from here, and it helps from the bottom. So, in conclusion, it's a $50 knife that does have some problems that I'm not happy about. The up and down blade play, the shape of where your fingers are in the frame, I'm not too thrilled about either, and I'm also not thrilled about the RFID put inside the actual knife. It should have been put in the package. So again, this concludes my review of the SOG Flash II. All things considered, I would not buy the SOG Flash II again, because for $50 there's so many others that don't have as many issues as this. I know there are a lot of fans of Flash II, and some of you folks might not have the problems that I have, which may make it a more desirable knife for you. But for me, I would have rather spent my money on something else. Anyway, thanks for stopping by and watching my reviews. I really appreciate all the folks who have subscribed and befriended me on YouTube. Have a great week.